Urgent Washington Commanders fans. Do not miss this. What just happened? You won't believe this one. But before we reveal the big news, make sure to subscribe to the channel, because here, we bring you daily videos with the latest Washington Commanders updates. And to not miss anything, activate the notifications. Alright, folks, today we're diving into some serious rumors, some high-stakes talk, and a potential game-changer for the Washington Commanders. Now, if you've been paying close attention to the NFL landscape lately, you've probably heard whispers, reports, and maybe even some outright rumors about the team's pursuit of bolstering their pass rush. And let me tell you, this isn't just idle chatter. The Commanders are looking to make a splash, and one player in particular is at the heart of this conversation, Trey Hendrickson from Cincinnati. But before we get into all the details, let's set the stage with a quick look at what's been happening with the team this offseason, how they're shaping up, and why the focus on their pass rush is so critical right now. The Washington Commanders, for those of you who follow them closely, have had an interesting offseason. They're coming off a season that showed flashes of potential but also exposed some glaring weaknesses, most notably, their pass rush. Now, you might be thinking, well, they've got some decent players, right? And sure, they've added some veterans through free agency, and Adam Peters, the general manager, has taken a more cautious, patient approach. Instead of making big, splashy moves early on, he's relied on the core group and some savvy veteran signings to guide the team in the right direction. That's a smart strategy, especially when you consider the team's needs and the high stakes of the upcoming season. Because let's face it, the NFC East is only getting tougher, with the Eagles, Cowboys, and Giants all improving, and Washington needs to keep pace if they want to make a serious playoff run. But here's the thing, fans are hungry for more. They want that elite pass rusher, that difference maker who can elevate the entire defense. And it's not just about filling a roster spot, it's about transforming the team's ability to generate pressure, to disrupt the quarterback, and to turn games around in critical moments. The last few seasons have shown that when Washington's pass rush is clicking, the entire defense becomes more aggressive, more confident, and more dangerous. So, naturally, the talk around the league is about who they might target, and one name keeps popping up, Trey Hendrickson. Now, Hendrickson is no ordinary player. He's a proven all-pro defensive end, one of the league's most productive pass rushers. If you've watched Cincinnati play, you already know how disruptive he can be. His motor is relentless, his ability to get to the quarterback is elite, and his consistency is what makes him stand out. Last season, Hendrickson racked up impressive sack numbers, and he's been a key player in Cincinnati's defense for several seasons. But, as it often happens in the NFL, contract negotiations have become a significant point of contention. Hendrickson, frustrated with the current situation, has already made it clear that he's seeking a new deal, one that reflects his value and contributions on the field. In fact, Hendrickson's situation with the Bengals has escalated to the point where he's handed in a trade request earlier this offseason, and the team granted it. That's not something you see every day, especially for a player of his caliber. While initially, both sides appeared willing to work something out, it seems now that negotiations have hit a wall. According to reports, Hendrickson recently told ESPN's Adam Schefter that the Bengals are no longer communicating regarding an extension. That's a pretty stark statement, and it signals that his patience might be wearing thin. For the Commanders, this presents a tantalizing opportunity. If they can make the right move, they could land one of the league's premier pass rushers. Imagine Hendrickson lining up opposite their current defensive line, providing that elite pass-rushing presence they've been missing. His addition would immediately upgrade the team's front, creating more pressure on opposing quarterbacks and boosting the entire defense's confidence. And let's be honest, Washington's pass rush has been good, but it's not quite at the level where they can consistently dominate the line of scrimmage, especially against the best offenses in the league. Hendrickson could be that difference maker, that player who turns the tide in close games, who forces turnovers, and who helps the team reach the playoffs more convincingly. But, of course, everything isn't as simple as just wanting a player and making it happen. The Commanders face some significant hurdles. First, their draft capital isn't as abundant as it might have been in previous years. After trading away their second-round pick and fourth-round pick in recent deals, Laramie Tunsil and Marshawn Lattimore come to mind. They're limited in terms of draft assets. They only have 5 picks in the upcoming draft, which makes acquiring a high-value player like Hendrickson a bit more complicated. You see, the team would probably have to part with some future assets, potentially even their 2027 draft picks, to make a deal work financially and strategically. And speaking of finances, Hendrickson's market value is substantial. Given his production and talent, a contract in the ballpark of $30 million per year isn't out of the question. That's a sizable investment, especially considering the salary cap constraints and the need to pay other key players. The Commanders have some players to re-sign, some young talent to develop, and certain positional needs to address, so any move for Hendrickson would require some creative maneuvering from Adam Peters and the front office. They'd need to find ways to make the numbers work, whether that means restructuring existing contracts or exploring some salary cap tricks. Pause here, just for a second. If you want the YouTube algorithm to keep recommending the latest Washington Commanders news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick, and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now, let's continue with the big reveal. So, despite these hurdles, the possibility of acquiring Hendrickson is very real, if the front office believes that bringing in a player of his caliber can push the team over the top. It's a gamble, no doubt, but one that could pay dividends if executed correctly. Hendrickson's relationship with the Bengals is reportedly at a breaking point, and the longer the stalemate continues, the more likely it becomes that he ends up in a new uniform. For Washington fans, the hope is that the front office is eyeing this opportunity seriously, weighing the risks and benefits, and perhaps even willing to make some bold moves to get him. Now, let's talk about the bigger picture. The Commanders' defensive scheme under Jack Del Rio has shown flashes of competence, but they've lacked that consistent pass rush threat that can truly change games. Adding a player like Hendrickson wouldn't just be about individual stats, it's about transforming the entire defensive identity. With Hendrickson's relentless motor and proven production, opposing quarterbacks would think twice before holding on to the ball too long, and that opens up opportunities for the secondary to create turnovers and for the linebackers to make plays. And it's not just about Hendrickson himself. His presence would elevate the entire defensive front, allowing younger players to learn from him and boosting the team's overall confidence. Remember, defense in the NFL is often about that mental edge. Knowing you have a game-wrecker on the line can change how everyone plays. For Washington, that could mean turning a season around, especially if they can get that pass rush to the next level. But, as with any big move, there are questions. Will the Bengals hold firm? Will the Commanders be willing to part with their future assets? And can they find the salary cap space necessary to sign Hendrickson to a lucrative deal? These are the questions that will be answered in the coming weeks, and fans will be watching closely. The NFL offseason is always full of surprises, and this could very well be one of the biggest storylines for the Commanders heading into 2024. Looking at the bigger picture, it's clear that the team's development isn't just about one player, but about a collective effort to build a roster capable of competing at the highest level. The Commanders have the foundation, young talent, a solid quarterback in Sam Howell, and a coaching staff eager to succeed. But to truly contend, they need that extra push, that spark on defense, and Hendrickson could be just that spark. If they manage to pull it off, it would send a message to the league that Washington is serious about taking that next step, about becoming a team that can challenge the giants of the NFC. And let's not forget how this aligns with their long-term vision. The team's front office has been strategic, patient, and calculated. They're not just making moves for the sake of headlines, they're planning for sustained success. Bringing in a player like Hendrickson would be a statement move, showing that they're willing to invest in a winning culture, in a defense that can dominate. It's about setting the tone for the future and giving the fanbase something to truly rally behind. Now, as we wait for more updates, remember that the NFL offseason is always full of twists and turns. Trades, signings, rumors, everything can change in a heartbeat. But one thing is clear, the Washington Commanders are keeping their eyes open for that game-changing addition. Whether it's Hendrickson or another player, the front office knows that to take the next step, they need to make bold moves, and they're willing to do just that if the opportunity arises. And now, Washington Commanders fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this? Do you think Hendrickson is the missing piece for next season? Would you like to see the team go all in and make a bold move to bring him in? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the team. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, more news, and more insights into everything happening around the Washington Commanders. Stay tuned, stay passionate, and let's keep that energy high because this offseason is shaping up to be one of the most exciting in recent memory. Thanks for watching, and see you in the next video.